Once upon a time, a girl was born.
And once upon a time, a girl was born.
And once upon a time, a girl was born.
Until there existed 3 girls who were sisters, who were triplets.
Albion was the oldest.
And Beatrix was next.
And Carmen was the youngest. And they looked identical. In the same way as visiting a block of flats, a person may say,
those flats are identical.
and of course they are, right? But of course they are not.
Because in one window, the curtain is patterned.
And in one more, the curtain's blue. In wax, there's no curtain at all.
So all these identical flats end up looking different because different people live in them. Just as those 3 identical bodies ended up looking different because different people live in them as well.
Albion, for instance, enjoyed cake very much. And by age 9, her body had become that of a true cake appreciator. Round like a gâteau and warm like a brioche.
Beatrix in the middle enjoyed the expelling of energy in the world didn't wish to do it, and would run around outside from sun to sundown. And so she was a child of sun through and through, with blonde hair and brown skin and freckles on her nose.
Carmen found the world to be everything and carried it upon her shoulders. It was like a school backpack. You know it holds important contents, but though you sometimes wish you could just leave on the bus and never have to pick up again. The world she carried made her shoulders small and eyes dark. Though her heart was as large as her sister's, it was just a little smothered by world caring. That was all.
The 3 sisters lived in a forest and had as their parents a woman who shall be the mother and a man who shall be the father. The woman sewed up clothes for people in a nearby village, and a man chopped down trees deep in the woods.
But this is only one thing they did. The worst thing they did. They also helped build castles from old boxes, line up dominoes and knock them down.
Showed the girls how people drink tea in China and dance in Peru, cooked them dinners
And cakes.
and cakes. Had quiet chats in other rooms sometimes, walked alone sometimes.
Sat at the kitchen table, played cards sometimes. Ran, swam, built good fires when the winter came.
All this, and all fit into the first 10 years of Albion, Beatrix, and Carmen's life.
And the girls knew in their hearts that this happiness they felt.
Living that forest with that man and that woman, it would never end. Until one day, it ended.
That day, I was sitting by the side river, which was full of currents. And eating a cake, which was full of currents as well.
That day, I was balancing the top of the tallest tree I've ever climbed, and trying to reach a bird's nest that needed investigating.
That day, I was writing at my desk, without dread, thinking about how even things that don't exist can become extinct just by people talking about them less. And from the river, I saw the policeman ride into our house as fast as he could.
And from the tree, I saw the policeman come to our front door.
And from my room, I heard boots running in, and putting down a cup of tea. And then slow, muffled talk, and then silence. And finally, a long sigh from Papa. The longest sound I've ever heard.
And after letting out every ounce of air in his lungs, the father breathed it in, and he pulled every data that he possessed from off the trees and out of the riverbank, and through the doors of neighboring rooms until there they stood, held in his arms, softly being told that
Our mama
Who we so loved.
was dead.
When someone like a mother is suddenly gone, she is not the only loss that occurs. Many other losses occur as well.
Albion lost her appetite. And knowing Claire, or Meringue, Black Forest, or Middle Slice could tempt her back.
Beatrice lost her son. Of course he was still there, still hanging in the sky. But it had little to do with her anymore. The moon now became her companion as she lay awake at night.
Carmen lost her eyes. Before, it was strange how she was quiet when her sisters were loud. And now 3 girls and a father sat around the kitchen table in silence. be clever with those. So a certain sad gazed man passed him in police. Another said, how's school today? And a third translated as, quite good, but I had a math test. Forgot I had blind vision, even though I knew it this morning.
And slowly, ever so slowly, the seasons passed, and new spring grass was warmed by strong summer sun, then covered by gold autumn leaves, and finally hidden by bare winter snow. Then the grass grew back, and this many years had passed, and the girls were now 11.
Albion began, ever so slightly, to rediscover her appetite. A new baker went to the town to marry Hampson's son, and Albion wasn't sure if it was the tarts that filled the window or the point that filled her head. But either way, she grew hungry for life again.
Beatrix rediscovered the sun. One day, her father chopped down the one tall tree that blocked the morning rays from her window, and they poured into Beatrix's room down upon the floor of her mother, and it warmed her mother and made her look alive again. And Beatrix could not be angry with the sun anymore.
Carmen rediscovered her backpack, called The Way to the World. It happened as she was walking one day, and passed a beggar in the town. And he saw her face, and he offered her some money, as she looked more needy than he. Carmen imagined his story then, and imagined other stories, with other people, with lives. And she acknowledged Mom, and picked up the backpack.
Even the girl's father began to act differently. He began shaving again, and he whistled occasionally. And once, sitting by himself beside the fire, he laughed out loud at a joke that could only be heard in his head.
And one day, when everyone was sitting around the table, he said,
Girls, there's someone I'd like you to meet very soon. Her name is Her name is Eleanor. She shops at the shop where I shop. She wears her hair up, and if I'm to be honest with you, as I almost promised I would be, she and I enjoy each other's company very much.
And everything happened very quickly after that. The one called Eleanor came for lunch. And she brought a cake. And it was sweeter than it ever had before. And on the top, hidden ice and sugar, was the face of the baker's son. The woman called Eleanor came for dinner, and she held Father's hand on the edge of the table. And when she started eating, I noticed her shoulders were a little bent. And she caught my eye, and she leaned into me, and she said, I carry the world sometimes too.
the woman called Eleanor, who is not our mother, came to live with us. She started working in the garden, in our mother's garden. And one day when I came outside to see what she had destroyed, Eleanor said,
I planted 100 sunflowers for you, Beatrix. I hope that's okay.
and I didn't know what to say after that. So I said nothing. Instead, picked up a rake, and rolled up my sleeves, and helped her to smooth up the dirt. And in silence, we worked side by side until it grew dark.
The seasons passed once more, and the girls were 12 now, and around the house, little things began to change.
In spring, the cakes that Eleanor baked grew smaller and smaller until they were biscuits. Then buttons. Then nothing.
In summer, I went out to the garden with handfuls of sunflower seeds and found that Eleanor had planted radishes.
In autumn, I was collecting fiber at the edge of the forest and spotted Eleanor heading away from the house. She walked with her shoulders curved, like always, but at a point, I saw her look around and then straighten her back. And her posture, it was beautiful.
And then it was winter. The girls went to sleep each came something worse. A silence fell over the house.
Soon it was decided that the three girls should all move into one room.
And their father, kind of loving as he was, but being a man with a twice broken heart, he said nothing.
And when it was suggested that the girls stop eating cake, playing outside, or worrying about others,
He said nothing again.
Until finally, one night, Eleanor suggested something unbelievably mad. Unbelievable.
He said nothing a third time and just stared into the fire that had gone out long ago.
Until finally, he spoke.
Girls, grab your coats. The night is cold, and we need firewood.
And this was true, so we did. See you shortly, girls.
Said Eleanor, and there was something strange about these words. The girls would agree later, but obediently, politely, they took their hats and followed their papa out into the snow.
We had passed House of Fire, Father.
we have not been this deep in the woods before, Father.
We walked for hours, Father. We do not know where we are anymore.
And there the men halted, and they turned to the snow, falling fast, and covered any footprints that had been laid down. They looked at each room.
Albion, you are the oldest. You know cakes like none other. You should taste every experience in this world. Beatrix, you're a child of the sun. You warm those around you. You should meet every person in this world. Carmen, you have concerns for everyone but yourself. You should find your place in this world. I love you too with all my heart. And, as I have no more use for it, saw yours.
And once upon a time,
Twice upon a time,
thrice upon a time,
three girls who were sisters, who were triplets,
they found themselves alone in the woods.
what becomes the children who are left in what, Albion?
Different things, Beatrix.
Good and bad things?
Just different. We should make a fire straight away and build some kind of shelter.
Oh, right, and sharpen a rock into knife and watch the stars spark out in the morning.
Our Papa has left us. First thing we should do is think about that. Yes,
Yes.
yes. You know what has happened, don't you? Papa has sent us off into this world. This wood is the doorway to everything that's outside our house. And our village. And our childhood. And our experiences.
There may be bears out here.
And boys out here.
And the storms may make great noise out here.
Maybe great out here.
Or freeze out here.
We may fall into our knees out here. The only thing we cannot do is go back. And that's okay. Life is not for going back.
But we must. We must find our Papa and remind him of the wrongs he has done.
No. Either he knows, and he's active anyway, or he does not know. I'm going back. Where Papa fled, and I'll find him.
But he fled. You said yourself. I go forward. If these woods really are a door, then I'm going outside. I'll leave no key under the water can. I'll walk until my legs cannot. Or my spirit cannot. Or I'm finished. Or the world is finished. I'm walking away. Not always, Albion. Because the world is round. And after half a globe's worth of walking away from here, we'll start walking towards here. Come to this other side of the planet. And eventually find a way there.
And I'll go the other way. I'll follow her, Papa. Follow the sun, going from east to west, and I'll find him. But if no Papa turns up, then I'll meet you another time, Lady Sister Albion, at the opposite end of the world. And maybe it will be different then, and her hair will be much longer, or very short, or come to inside or something from swimming in the sea. Whatever it is, I look forward to that.
And then they stood in silence. Albion the eldest, Carmen the youngest, and Beatrix in the middle. And already the sun was beginning to rise over the treetops, and a new day was beginning. Which is good, because new days are the best things for starting life journeys. And then
I picked up a strong walking stick from the ground and sat east.
I rolled up my sleeves, rolled down my socks, and head off west.
And I watched them both leave. Thought of clever, worded things I could have said to them. And I collected 20 or 30 branches, piled from smallest to biggest. And then started to flint. Began my first fire. And what would be a new home.
Beatrix headed west. She had resolved to follow her papa, to follow the sun's path. And when one didn't turn up, she just kept following the other. At dawn each day, she'd feel the sun rise and warm her back.
At noon, she would feel it hanging directly above her head.
And at dusk, she would watch the sun lie down beyond a distant hill, and she would find a hill of her own and lie down too.
And so it went, until Beatrix was 14 and arrived one day in an ocean. Oceans have a weird way of showing up in front of you sometimes, just when you're getting sick of walking on solid ground and feel like a change.
And so it was with this one. I looked at the vastness of it.
The vast vastness of it.
The humbling majesty of so giant a stretch of water.
And I decided to tame it. An ocean is for sailing. And to sail, one needs a boat. So I'll be hammering and nailing, and I'll keep myself afloat.
Beatrix started building them, or she would have, if she could have found something to build with. But the shoreline was only made up of sandy dunes, which are great for running down while screaming,
I did this a few times.
but less good for fashioning into seaworthy vessels. Finally, after much looking and much running and much screaming, she climbed to the top of the highest dune and saw, in the distance, her old friend the sun.
Even though it was night.
And then it was gone, and then it was back, and gone and back.
Intrigued, my sister crossed the sandy hills until she reached it. A tall lighthouse with a small windmill beside it for pumping up drinking water.
Intrigued, my sister entered without knocking and climbed coiling stairs. At the top sat an old lady at an old table, looking old. She cracked walnuts.
tea, sugar, biscuits.
Walnut?
No,
Beatrix collected up all these things, and while the tea brewed, got started down a ginger snap.
These are good.
I know. That's why I have them.
Do you often get visitors?
No. It's a lighthouse. Whole point of a lighthouse, don't want no one getting near it. As long as no one comes near you, that is a good lighthouse.
I need a boat.
What for?
To cross the sea.
What's on the other side?
Not sure. The rest of the world. And my papa, maybe.
I tried crossing the world once. Was a young woman then. Ended up here. Old woman now.
And with these words, Beatrix feels like the whole lighthouse is a teapot, and she's the tea bag sitting inside, slowly filling up and getting heavier and heavier. Crossing the world is hard, she realizes. It'd be simpler just to not. But then, far behind the lighthouse, in the east, the sun rises and the day arrives, and it reminds her,
No,
What?
I'm crossing it.
Okay.
But I need your lighthouse.
What? No, it's mine.
Then you come too, this way.
Beatrix leads the old lady outside and asks her for certain things.
Ropes, fishing net, toolbox.
Beatrix sets to work.
I climb to the top of the lighthouse and attach the ropes. And then I tie the other ends to the fishing nets, and I fling them into the sea. Slowly, they start to fill.
With pike and tuna and mackerel and halibut, the fish get angry about being held when they strain at the nets. And slowly, the whole long lighthouse is dragged over the dunes and into the sea.
Oh God.
It crashes down onto the beach, nearly reaching the ocean.
Quickly, before we set sail, I run to the windmill and dismantle the propeller bit from the stand bit, and then I weld this onto the bottom of the lighthouse. In the cellar sits an old tractor engine, and I weld this onto the windmill. Finally, I weld all of the windows shut, and just before the lighthouse heads into the surf, the old lady and I dive in the door.
Still, the million of fish are trying to swim down and away. So the two women cut the ropes and release the fish. Then start the tractor motor, which spins the windmill into life, sending them peering through the deep in a giant, sideways lighthouse.
It's dark down here.
Says Beatrix, who misses her sunshine. The old lady turns to a switch on the wall.
It's better.
Says the old lady.
I've been needing to get out for a while. Thanks.
No problem. Walnut?
No, it's mine.
And the two sail off together, heading west, ever west, like a super submarine with the sun at its nose.
doesn't know what lies ahead. But that's the best thing about hills. They're like a secret you only hear the first words of. They promise they'll reveal themselves eventually, but only if you're patient.
I have reached the top. And that was a good thing to say, because that is what a journey must be. A lot of little successes.
My big sister studied the top of the hill and saw
A cherry tree full of cherries. Fantastic.
And she gobbled a handful and filled her pockets with hundreds more and set off. Over the next few years, I'll be walking, dropping 3 cherry seeds every month. One for each of the sisters.
And the trees?
in their threes slowly grew.
And so did her reputation. The story of Albie, who is now 16, this round, wonderful woman with the sweetest sweet tooth stretched ahead of her from town to town, and people would wait outside her house with hot chocolate and local cakes. In return, she would share the stories from her 4 years of walking.
The Chicaquila tribe in the jungles of the Amazon settle their arguments by pointing at snakes. If you and someone else are arguing, you both have to run off and find a snake to point at, and whoever does it first wins the argument, no matter what it's about. Brilliant!
People would ooh and ah, and Albion would laugh her big laugh, and pick cake from her teeth with a sharp seed she carried in her pocket. And she would pat small children on the head and wink at nice men. She truly loved her wandering life. And then one day, while she was resting under a bridge, my eldest sister heard the clatter of hooves above her head. She ran out to see many people on horses charging away with sound 3 or 4 enough of them, and Albion yelled, "Stop!
Where are you going and why ever so quickly?"
And a man said,
Our village, they pillaged the land that I tilled. Harold, the Vikings are here.
The Vikings on their long, low boats, rowing furiously toward land, hiding behind the large waves until they appear.
The Vikings, run.
But by then, there's hardly enough time. The best thing you can do is stand outside your house with your most expensive gazette in your hand and a welcoming smile, and hope then they're in a nice mood, which they rarely ever are. Not on this day either, as.
The Vikings burned the barns and chased the people through the muddy streets and graffitied all the walls and ran into houses without taking their shoes off and spat in front of old ladies and on old ladies and bloodied their swords on anyone they fancied. It was a horrible thing to watch.
So no one did. They jumped on the horse and fled across the bridge for safety. But Albion would have none of it.
Stop running away, runaways. I've never met these Vikings that you talk about, but having heard your story, I don't think I like them. And if it were my village, and not your village, I would stand on the roof of the tallest building and yell, "Go away, Vikings! And don't let my friends or me anymore! And don't make us get really angry, because if we do, we'll feel it in every inch of your living bodies, okay?"
And everyone stares at this shouty person who has climbed out from under a bridge. And they say nothing, because it's an unnerving thing to be told big information by little people. Until finally one young girl speaks.
But before, when we didn't fight, we lost some people we loved. And now if we do fight, we might lose many more people we love. And we might never be able to see that person we love again, like your sister, or mother, or your father. Can you imagine what that will feel?
Yes, I can. I've lost all of those things at one time or another. And because I know that feeling, I think maybe fighting to get back the people you love is just as important as not fighting and not losing more people you love. I think if some Vikings had taken me, I would want some people to fight to get me back.
And then the crowd of villagers does that murmuring noise, which is a lot of commission. And then a louder murmuring, so everybody gets very excited that they do all agree. And when the noise that is murmuring loudest, Albion jumps on his sparrow horse, sticks the fist in the air, and yells, "Charge!" They arrive back at the village in time.
Oh my God, there's thousands of them!
Yeah, we told you that. You said it's not very funny, didn't you?
No. What I said was, oh, I did. Okay, then fine!
And in that day for 6 days afterwards, the biggest, fastest, bloodiest, nastiest, roaring, romping, savage, exciting battle takes place, with yelling and screaming, horses and boats, and blood and hair flying and 1,000 different noises.
And 1,000 different silences, as the villagers stand quietly on the beach and watch the Vikings sail away.
And this is a good thing, so they're happy silent.
But their village is destroyed, so they are sad silent too.
And many people who would have been taken away are now free.
But some people who would have been alive are now dead. And it all makes no sense.
Except Talby. The young woman stands in the sea and looks at her sore image in the water. Even her reflection aches. But she realizes she is strong and heroic and can lead people. She doesn't like the blood on her skin, but looking at herself in the ocean, she sees the blood washes off.
My days of eating cake and caring for nothing are over.
Says the girl to herself and to the sea. And coming from it, she picks up the biggest sword she can find, sticks it in her belt, plants 3 cherry seeds in the scorched earth, one for each of the sisters. And now, reborn as a woman of war, she wanders off along the road.
One sister, Beatrix, she journeys beneath an ocean.
One sister, Albie, she walks with a sword.
And another sister, Carmen, we find her exactly where we left her.
For the first 3 years, I lived simply beneath a tree.
That first winter, living was hard and cold, and it was very lucky her posture was so bad and her shoulders so curved, as is the perfect shape one needs to be to keep an icy wind at bay.
But then the spring came, and the tree bloomed, and beautiful little bunny rabbits emerged from hibernation, frolicking happily.
And I ate those rabbits.
And some hares, too.
And a very large badger,
And several squirrels,
And a mole.
and a raccoon,
And a dove.
and eventually it was summer. And Carmen built a hammock at a strong vine in a shady place and slept there.
This was comfy.
but also for safety, as the animals hated her and would spend the night poking her with sticks and keeping her awake in revenge.
And then it was autumn, and if I was the summer's child, my sister's season was certainly this one, because autumn is all about walking around with your jacket pulled tight around you.
Which I like very much.
And sitting in trees, swinging your legs, thinking about distant friends.
I enjoy this also.
And saying very little, but always the right thing.
It's my way.
The autumn liked my sister too, and it would blow leaves from every corner of the forest right to where she sat, and it made a blanket that she pulled up to her chin.
And then it was winter. And no one really likes winter unless you're with friends. Winter is a season that only exists so one can think about the past when it was warmer or the future when warmness will return. Its job is to remind us that life has befores and afters. And it's nice to know in those moments when the present isn't all that good. That is the point of winter. And so on the 4th winter, when Carmen was 18, she busied herself. She called her busyness
Building a house!
Carmen began by calling the woodland meetings and offering her apologies to every animal for eating so many of them. She explained that she wanted to be friends and live among them forevermore, but to do this, she would need a shelter.
And I am too big to fit in your nest.
She told the jackdaw called Jack.
Or your Warren.
She told the rabbit called Warren.
I will need a house. And the house in the wood needs wood.
And with this all agreed, so the beavers chewed
and the squirrels gather branches, and the worms carry ferns.
And the badger does nothing at all. Carmen visited his brother earlier that year, and he's still mad, which she completely understands. He just loiters around the edge of the worksite, making rude hand gestures and scowling. Occasionally, he'll tip over a wheelbarrow or smash a few windows, but no one really says anything about it.
Then in spring, everyone, animal and Carmen alike, except Badger, attach ropes to the structure and heave, and the walls are pulled up to standing. And then the thousands of birds gently lower the roof down.
And the foxes paint the letterboxes, and the moles pack the holes, and the slugs slide across every surface, varnishing it with their sticky trails.
And I invite everyone in.
But animals, it turns out, don't really like being in houses. It makes them feel like pets, so they say thanks but go back to their homes.
Badger knocks over the bin on the way out.
Suddenly, Carmen finds herself in a strange situation. She has a house now, which means she'll never be cold again. But when the woman had nothing, she felt quite content. And now that she has something, she finds
I'm missing things.
the woman misses company.
What do people do in lighthouses that pass beneath the water?
They play cards and stand at the windows taking photos of new sea monsters. And drink a huge amount of tea.
Ain't too many my biscuits.
And after a few years of this, they arrive somewhere. It was the harbor of a huge city, and
It's dreadful.
It really was. The city was faded.
in the sky, clouds hung low and covered up the sun like it was a secret.
In the skyscrapers, the windows were black and gave away no clues.
And in the trees, the birds looked awkwardly at one another, not knowing what to say.
This is the most boring city ever. I feel like I'm going to explode.
And of course she didn't, because that would be the end of her story.
Instead, she did something, a very Beatrixy thing.
My sister goes into the lighthouse and
Where is it? Oh, come on, this is ludicrous. Not that one. Why am I talking to myself?
Yes, absolutely yes, there it is.
Finally, the lighthouse door bursts open and out steps Beatrix, dressed in every colorful thing she can find, dressed as bright as the sun that she loves.
Hello, boring people.
Says the strange woman who has just come out of the sea.
Why are you all so
find they've been traveling for 10 years. They find also that tomorrow they will be 22. They had grown from the same belly and laid in the same crib and dreamt the same dreams. When they laughed, they went,
When they danced, they did this with their hands.
And when lying in bed at night, whether in a mansion, a ditch, or a house in the woods, these three women would say the same simple oath.
I am a woman, and this was my den. This I have learnt, and this blown away.
This was a good thing, and this was bad. Of this I feel guilty, and of this I feel glad.
And some things I can change, some I can't fix. I'm alone, but as well, I am part of a mix.
I am Albion,
Carmen,
And also Beatrix.
so wherever you sleep now,
The other parts of this one,
I pray do not fear tonight.
soon the morning will come.
I wake in a ditch. I am strong now, and my arms are no longer for carrying cakes. My arms are for carrying arms. My clothes are covered in dirt and blood. A lot of it my own, some of it not my own. I am 22 today. I laugh less now. My eyes are cold. My ears are full of the shouts of men. My hair is long.
I wake in a mansion. Every day I sign autographs, and every night I dance at parties and eat more than I should, and drink more than I should, and do everything a bit more than I should. I'm 22 today. I laugh a lot, but mostly at the things I say. A giant table is set up for me with millions of presents, but from my father, my sisters, there's nothing. My hair is long.
I wake in my house. It's become very full lately. People heard there was a lady in the woods who could never say no to helping anyone. So first, just 3 people came. And they enjoyed the situation so much, they stayed for a month. And then some dancers seeking lessons. And a cold person wanting blankets. And finally, my old school teacher for a cup of tea. And we talked about my papa, who it turned out left long ago looking for us. I'm 22 today. I love to make other people comfy now, and my eyes always watch the teapot to check if it's getting empty. My mouth always holds a needle, as I'm always sewing up people's ripped jackets. My hair is long.
On their 22nd birthday,
The three sisters look at their waking up places and they realize
They're not happy.
they miss cakes.
They miss the sun.
they miss a moment for themselves.
They miss their sisters.
I get up and hang my sword over my shoulder. Beside me is a giant house. And in the window, I see a silhouette. That house is not for me, though. And I walk on to my next battle. But as I go, I notice the sun and think of Beatrix, and the distance, and think of Carmen. And I decide it might be time to head home.
Every day I wake up and a maid brushes my teeth. On the street, a dirty soldier with long, ratty hair looks at me, and I look back. And suddenly I think of Albion, wherever she might be walking, and Carmen, wherever she might be still. And I decide it might be time to head home. Without telling anyone, I go down the stairs, out the door, across the lawn, through the gate, and onto the street. I see the sun, and I follow it.
I get up
and make tea for the 18 people living here now. And I suddenly think, hang on, 18 is far too many. I would be happy with the sixth of that number. I would be happy with 3 people to make tea for.
And all feel it now, but they don't know why. The earth does, though, because today, in this very moment, Albie and Beatrice have done it. They walked right around the earth and reached the other side. They're at their meeting place, but not meeting. So now every step they take ahead is actually a step back up the planet and towards Carmen's home. And walking home, even when you don't know you are, always feels good.
Another 2 years passed, and my sister Carmen was 24.
She could feel in her bones now that we were on our way.
But what they'd find when arriving, I wasn't so sure.
Strangers lay all over her house, waiting for her to take care of them. They clean out her fridge, change the channel on her telly in the middle of a good program, and use her toothbrush without asking. And one day, she had enough.
Right. You who keeps eating all my biscuits, and you who just used up all the hot water in the shower, and you with the dog that keeps farting in my house, get out. In fact, all of you, get out.
But you're the woman in the woods who helps everyone, and we need help.
Well, you've helped yourself to everything. And now there's none left. My help has run out. Go on, please. Back to the village and tell everyone I'll be closing for at least a fortnight. Maybe 3 weeks even.
And everyone grumbles and thinks about arguing, but the animals come to the windows and show their teeth, and the birds tap on the roof menacingly. And even the badger walks in the door and kicks one of the strangers in the knee.
Ow! All right, fine. Thanks, where we can go. It's okay,
Says my sister with a smile.
now bugger off.
And they do. A big group of people grumbling through the wood while the badger throws pebbles at their back and shakes his fist.
Finally, my sister has the whole place to herself, for the first time in many years. To begin, she doesn't even know what to do, but then she puts on a cassette tape that only she enjoys and turns the volume up too loud. Next, she cuts her toenails in the living room and loosens her bra strap and lies on the sofa eating chocolate someone left.
That's nice. Maybe I was meant to live alone. Maybe some people just aren't meant for people. If that's you, Badger, trying to annoy me, I said bugger off. That goes for animals too, even ones whose brother I ate.
Sorry to correct you, miss, but I'm not a badger.
Very nice looking man who stands in the doorway says to my sister,
I'm a Peter, and I do have a brother, but I don't believe he's been eaten recently by you or anyone else.
Oh,
Says my sister. And it's strange then. She's a woman who has never much cared about what people think of her, because she's always been too busy thinking of people.
but suddenly my sister Carmen feels very silly lying on the sofa and wishes that her hair was looking better, and wishes too that she was wearing her green tights right now, the ones with the nice pattern.
My sister says too loudly, as if someone has taken control of her voice.
hello. I didn't. What do you need?
Oh, I don't need anything. I I was just out walking in the woods, and then a very effusive badger hit me with a branch. He stole my map and ran off this way and left it on your door or something.
Carmen sees Badger in the window, winking at her.
And I thought I'd say hello, but it's a bad time.
No! No! Please, come in. I was about to make some bolognese. Are you hungry?
Oh, famished, and I could roll a pasta while you make the sauce, as long as you don't mind cooking for two.
2 is the perfect number I feel like cooking for, says my sister. And as she says these words, she discovers that they feel like the truth. Suddenly, this doesn't feel like doing something for someone. It feels like doing something for someone plus you.
Great song.
Says Peter. And my sister says,
I'll get the good plates.
And she does.
Albie knew nothing about little sisters finding love in the woods. She knew nothing about little sisters walking away from mansions. All she knew about was war. Until one day,
It was November, when my sister came across a village like a lot of other villages she'd come across. On the main street, people sat looking sad, and she knew her help was needed. She planted 3 cherry seeds into the dirt and approached a woman.
you, I see you are depressed. And your friends in the town are depressed. Have you just been attacked?
Attacked? No.
Oh, so you're about to be attacked?
Not that I know of, no.
Ah, so you're the attackers. You found another village and you decided you must attack them.
Have we? No, I don't think so. Look, sorry to argue, but we're really not interested in attacking of any kind.
Oh, but you all look so sad.
Yeah, we're sad because we're hungry.
Hungry for war?
No, hungry for croissants or some small cakes or a good pack of biscuits. Got any biscuits by chance?
I have a sword.
Is it edible?
No, it's a sword.
I thought as much. Off you go then. Good luck with finding an attacking place. I think there's people killing each other over that way.
But it's my job. This is what I do.
If it makes you happy?
No, it doesn't make me happy at all. But I make other people happy.
By killing them.
By killing people who want to kill them. I save them. I want to save you.
Well, thanks. But killing anyone won't save us. A pie would, though. Lasagna would save us for sure. Problem is, our baker left. He fell in love with the chef, and as they fled, they ran over the butcher. So now, we've got a bakery, a restaurant, and a meat counter. But no idea how to use them. That's why we're sad, you see. Our bellies echo.
and Albie looks at the sad, hungry face before her, but she looks back as well, back to a time when she was a young woman, and she could talk about cakes and sweet and pork crackling all day long.
Can I see the bakery?
Sure, door's wide open. Go on in.
And she does. Albie walks in and sees the grain that needs grinding in the flour, the poppy seeds that need sprinkling, and the bucket that needs to be full of cow's milk. She sees a kitchen that needs no battle, but only the heat and movement and sounds of shells exploding.
Because a bakery has the same things as a war zone, except it does the opposite to one. It takes things that were once lying flat, and it makes them rise.
My sister makes a decision then, and she goes to the doorway.
You, sad-looking woman,
so many years ago, when she stood on top of a bridge and shouted at a village to fight. Now she shouts again, but food is her mission.
I swap my armor for an apron, and my sword for a rolling pin, and my angry, brave eyes for shining busy ones. And all morning, the villagers and I, we bake cakes, and all afternoon, we eat cakes. And all evening, we sit by a fire and I tell funny stories that are only a bit true.
The best kind.
And then I sleep. My first contented sleep in many long years. I wake with a smile on my face. And a gasp!
There, LBT. The villagers and I have gotten the biggest wagon they own and tied 30 strong ponies to it, and then lifted up the bakery and placed it on the back. A perfect mobile kitchen.
We've decided you bake good and we can't afford to lose you. So we're coming with you. Climb up into your kitchen and we'll get going.
And then after got in juice, Albie tosses her sword and climbs aboard. And then with a firm
Hee-yaw!
Village rolls away.
The youngest sister finds happiness with someone she can sit still with.
The oldest one finds happiness with the whole village she can journey with.
And the middle sister, happiness is proving tricky for her.
Beatrix is 28 now and walking back up the other side of Earth. Every kilometer or so, she sees 3 cherry trees that grow together and remind her of her sisters. Each group is a bit taller than the last, and this feels like a good thing, as it lets her know she's heading in the right direction. West.
But it can be a tiring thing to circle an entire planet if you can't remember what you're looking for.
And one day, the planet reminds her.
Hello,
Hello?
can I borrow some of your shade?
Of course. So, you're a traveler,
Yes.
and you've traveled for quite some time.
How do you know?
Sunburn on your shoulders. Sun doesn't like you that much.
You're sunburnt too?
Sun doesn't like me much either. I used to have a garden of sunflowers, but I let them die.
That's sad. I used to have a permanent suntan once, but I let it fade.
That's sad too.
Are these your 3 trees?
No, but I like trees, and I like trees. I like these. From that sunburn, you must have traveled from very far away.
Yes. The other side of the earth?
You used to know people from over there. You must have left a while ago.
16 years.
Funny. Me too.
Because the garden died?
Something like that.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Beatrix. So, I imagine you're heading home now.
I've been heading home the whole time, but now I'm ready.
Does that mean I'm coming with you?
Yes, Papa, I believe it does.
So the man puts down his watering cup, and the woman steps out of the shade. And without saying much at all, because who needs to really, they walk off.
like turning 13, which is the age you become a teenager, and turning 18, which is the age you become an adult, put together.
It's the fun of two brilliant birthdays combined.
That's how brilliant it is.
I turned 31 on the shore of a huge sea, where me and my villager friends were camping. On the sand dune beside us was a huge hole, where the same lighthouse used to be that just disappeared one day. And my friends collected firewood and filled the hole up with it, the whole hole. And while they did that, I baked and baked, because there's nothing so fun as inventing your own birthday cake.
I turned 31 on the shore beside a huge sea where my papa and I were camping. On the sand dune beside us was a village with a cherry orchard to celebrate a woman who once came and scared away the Vikings, and, as it turns out, had the same exact birthday as me. When I told the village, they played music I'd never heard before, and they invited me to sing the chorus. And there's nothing so fun as inventing your own birthday song.
I turned 31 in the house in the woods, sitting on one side of a small wooden table, and on the other sat Peter, smiling at me. And to my left sat Lionel, who was nearly 2, and in my tummy sat someone who we don't have a name for yet. We ate a big dinner together, and Peter, my love, he said, blow out the candle and hope for something. And I did, because there's nothing so fun as inventing your own birthday wish. And as I blew up the flame, the whole house dropped into darkness, and Lionel screamed with excitement. And outside, thousands of animals screeched and howled and roared and pecked in celebration. And the forest cheered for me.
And my friends danced for me.
And my papa sang for me.
And through it all,
I could feel in my bones
that you were close by.
We can feel it now, or at least I can. Our story is coming to an end. The world and its distances are shrinking, and things seem familiar once more.
the smell of the air,
the sound of that river.
Carmen began by putting fresh flowers in vases every day. On 2 hillsides, Albion and Beatrice began walking down toward the forest. And this is the best thing about hills. They're like a secret you only hear the last words of. They promise to explain themselves eventually, but only if you're patient.
One day, from the forest, I see silhouettes on 2 hillsides and light a fire.
one day, from the hillside, I see chimneys built above the forest.
And walk a little quicker.
All 3 girls play with their hair, and without thinking about it, they touch their face. They feel lines that were not once there, and skin that has grown to fit them.
I am full and happy, and my cheeks are round once more.
I'm sunny and warm, and my freckles are out again.
I am cozy and short, and my belly carries the world like my shoulders once did.
Soon all stand in a clearing that's in front of a small house, and they forget themselves now and look instead at one another.
I see a mother and a wife standing with a proud man and a shy boy.
I see a big-hearted baker with flour on her hands and hundreds of friends.
I see a brave explorer who has found the things she went searching for.
I'm a woman, and this was my years. This I now carry, and this disappears.
This was a good thing, and this was bad. Of this I feel guilty, and of this I feel glad.
And some things I can change, some I can't fix. I'm alone, but as well I am part of the mix.
I am Albion,
Carmen,
And also Beatrix,
so here you now stand.
my long-absent friends.
and I'm glad that you're back. It's good to see you again.
And you.
And you.
And then
3 sisters.
The village and a papa and a Peter and a child, and all the things we collect over half a lifetime,
they go inside.
And take off their boots.
and drink tea.
Till
tell a world's worth of stories.